Anton, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome.
Been up too much today, or?
Yeah, I just finished a full day at the uni.
Oh, really? What were you doing?
Well, I spent most of today in the lab.
Yeah, I know what that feels like, yeah.
Yeah, just at AIBN at UQ at the moment, so.
Okay, what do you do there?
Well, I'm currently doing research into melanoma. We have a couple of mice models that are there. We're looking at the immune system reactions with melanoma to look into metastasis of cancer.
Okay, so what got you into this?
Well, basically I had someone on the inside who managed to get a foot in the door for me. And so that really helped me to actually get in there. It's an opportunity that shows up very rarely for most undergraduate students.
Okay.
Because most of them just do general coursework. Most of them don't go for additional experience time and extra research projects because they're very time consuming a lot of the time, and people generally just do the regular assigned course list and
Understood.
Go from there. So there's a bit of a specialty.
So you made a point of actually making the sacrifice in order to get into this, or?
I mean, yes, I suppose so. It definitely causes a lot of disruptions for a regular student timetable just due to the amount of hours you put in at the lab. But effectively, that's, it's either in the lab or studying for other courses, I suppose. But
so you'd rather do the practical hands-on part?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a bit more sensible to do a bit of both. Seeing as a lot of the weaknesses of students going into research is that they have very little wet lab experience time. So
I've definitely noticed that tends to be an issue in the field.
So that's what we've been doing so far. What I'm basically doing at the AIBN is being I'm assisting a current research assistant, effectively. So I'm shadowing a friend of mine, Nadia. She was the one who got me in there in the first place, and I'm basically helping her with tissue staining of sections from a mouse model for melanoma. And we are looking at specific markers of cancer in there. And when we target these specific areas of cancer with potential therapeutics, it can slow down the progression of the cancer so it doesn't metastasize. And if cancer can't metastasize, it no longer becomes as threatening of an issue.
So what in particular drew you into this particular field as opposed to others?
Well, I've always had a thing for disease studies and pathologies. They just seem to interest me a lot more due to the fact that you can choose to prevent a lot of these from occurring as well as cure them. Cancer's had a vicious effect on my personal life in terms of family members. And well, I've had a few family members die from cancer. And maybe I have a vendetta against it in some way, I don't know.
I can understand how you...
To be fair, I would take the opportunity to study many diseases, if any disease at all, just because I think it's better to purge the world of suffering any way we see fit.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, if it's within our power to do so, we should do so.
Okay, so what do you enjoy the most about this particular field?
I enjoy results. I enjoy seeing the results of my labour show up in one way or another, whether that is simply a simple light emitting under a microscope to show that there is something there, or whether that is me curing a disease. It doesn't matter. As long as I see that there is some progression, there's some level of reward for what I've done, then that's all that matters to me at the end of the day, is to show that I could do 40 hours of labour, and if nothing happens, then not so great. But if I do 40 hours of labour and there's even a small little sign of progress, then at least there's some reward factor for me in there.
So you'd prefer to be actually doing things rather than just sitting behind a desk researching?
I prefer to do stuff, I'm definitely a very hands-on type person. I prefer doing wet lab over general, I guess you could call it office work.
Yeah, I'm the same much.
But obviously both are quintessential for producing what you're after,
Yeah,
especially in industry. So.